Hello everyone, it's John here from Football News Talk, and we will be starting our season previews 2016. And the team we will be starting off with is New York Football Giants. That is my favorite football team, so we'll start off with them. Last year, disappointing year, 6-10, and the defense was historically bad. I think they were last in passing yards a game and in the bottom third of the league in rushing yards allowed per game. The improvements they did make, they went out. Jerry Reese, he was on the hot seat at the end of last year, and he went out and he signed some big names in Janoris Jenkins, Olivier Vernon, and Damon Harrison, along with the signing of Keenan Robinson from the Washington Redskins, who I think could be a good complementary linebacker to Jasper Brinkley or Kelvin Shepherd, whichever one starts, or Keenan can maybe start. I like Devon Kennard on the outside, but he's very injury prone. He's been hurt every year he's been with the Giants. I like JT Thomas, but again, he also is still hurt on the PUP list right now. Now the thing with Olivier Vernon, his signing, I think they paid a little too much for him. I think they did. And I think that can hurt because they didn't get any offensive. They didn't aggressively pursue some offensive line, which was a problem last year at times. It was good in the beginning, but injuries made it poor. Marshall Newhouse at the right side was very weak, and they didn't look to upgrade him, which I'm not too happy about. I like Bobby Hart out of Florida State, but they're going to need some more guys. They're going to need these guys to improve, because against Buffalo yesterday, they lost 21-0, and the first team did not score and did not rush for positive yards. Now, that's pretty scary. And Marcel Darius was not playing for Buffalo, and Kyle Williams, so hopefully their line can fix that up. Last year, the offense was very good, I believe, especially the passing game. The passing game was very good. The rushing game was but I don't like how they did it last year with the running back by committee. I believe that you give the guy, you pick your guy and let him run the ball. Okay, because once Rashad Jennings started getting consistent carries, he really took off. I think he ended the year with 3 straight 100-yard games and a few 90-yarders in there as well. So I think he could be, if we give him the consistent carries, I think he can be a good back for us, especially with our passing game. We don't need a stud running back with the guys we have on the outside, and Odell Beckham and Sterling Shepard, and hopefully Victor Cruz. Eli Manning, consistent, past 2 years, 35+ touchdowns, 4,000+ yards, below 15 interceptions. That's what we like to see. Now, I think this team this year is improved from the Giants team we had last year, because they didn't get any worse on the offensive side of the ball, and I think they got a lot better on the defensive side of the ball. They lost Prince Amukamara, and they also lost Craig Dahl, but he was horrendous last year, so wasn't really mad at that. Jonathan Hankins, a guy that has been, in my opinion, very underrated. He's actually a very good pass rushing defensive tackle, which complements Snacks Harrison, who is a very good run stopping tackle. Jason Pierre-Paul had 1 sack, but he got pressured a lot of times last year. I don't know, man. It's going to be tough for him to play without fingers. I don't know. Just grabbing on is kind of tough. Key acquisitions on the defense, of course, those 3, Jenkins, Harrison, and Vernon. I think they overpaid for Jenkins and Vernon. Harrison I do like very much. I think he's a big body in the middle, who the Giants were very successful Jesus, acceptable to runs up the middle last year. As far as a prediction for the record this year, I can see that they do have an NFL ranked second easiest schedule in the NFL behind the Green Bay Packers. So I'm going to say when they open up against the Cowboys, I think they'll split with Dallas. I think they'll split with the division this year, each game. So that's 3-3. The Saints, I think they'll beat at home. Vikings, they probably will lose to. The Packers game's a toss-up because they always play the Packers very well. The Ravens game, I think the Giants can pull that off. The Rams, I think they can pull that off. The Bengals, that would be a tough one. They might lose that one. Go either way. The Bears, I think they can pull that off. The Browns, they better pull off. Steelers, they probably lose that one. And who else are we playing? Let's go. The Lions, I think they can get the Lions too. I think they can beat the Lions. So yeah, about 10-6, 9-7. I think this year could be a good prediction for the Giants. Last year 6-10, but really, I mean, you got the Dallas game they should have won. You got the Falcons game they should have won. You got the Cowboys. Oh yeah, the Panthers game, which they had an opportunity to win. The Saints game they should have won. So that's 4 games. That could have been said 10-6 right there. And I think they improved, and I think they got the defense to make those stops at the end of the game that was lacking last year. Yeah, they showed that they are a talented team, and I think last year if they just had a middle of the road defense, they could have been much better and maybe even won the NFC East. I'm predicting them to win the NFC East, and then Dallas, then Washington, then Philly. I think Philly does not look good this year. Now, judging by these first 2 preseason games, I think the Giants' offense has been sputtering. But it's first 2 preseason games, so we're not going to get too far into that. But I think the defenses look very good. I think they look much improved. Their division, probably last year the worst division in football. To win a division at 9-7, you're getting pretty lucky. Because the Cardinals a few years ago missed the playoffs at 10-6. So, you know, it was a bad division last year, and really the Eagles got worse. Dallas obviously got better with Romo and Dez returning to form. I think the Giants got better, and I think the Redskins got better too with Josh Norman. So they could be better, and I'm looking forward to see Beckham against Norman again 2 times this year. Hopefully Beckham can keep his head, because that was completely out of control. Now, on to the coaching staff. The firing of Tom Coughlin, well, Tom Coughlin resigned. That was not a shocker, but I'd rather see Jerry Reese go than Tom Coughlin, because when Tom Coughlin is given the players that when Tom Coughlin is given personnel that is suitable, you know what he can do. Obviously, win the 2 Super Bowl championships, as well as Steve Spagnuolo, who didn't have marquee pass rushers last year. You had JPP, and then the next best guy was Robert Ayers, who went to the Bucks. Forgot to mention him. Kerry Wynn. Robert Ayers was hurt a lot. JPP was hurt most of the year. So Kerry Wynn was playing. I mean, he was pretty good. Not pretty good, but he wasn't awful. But Colin Jenks, you need better. And now he's got the tools. You know, Kennard was a very good pass rushing linebacker. Jenkins, who was hurt a lot last year too. You know, he's got pieces now where he can blitz and he has confidence in his guys that they can cover, stay back. Because the problem was if they blitzed, the linebackers were so poor last year, and they couldn't get through because they had no pass rush, and the linebackers just couldn't cover because there was so much time. Romo, I think in the first game of the year, Romo had 9 seconds in the pocket, which is unacceptable. That is unacceptable. 9 seconds. So, and they tuned that up, so they fixed that. So that's good. Now, yeah, I definitely think they'll be better than their record last year. So my final prediction for the season, I see them going 10-6, 9-7, 11-5 if everything goes well. Again, their division not much better. I mean, the Eagles got worse, and then the Dallas and Washington got better as long as the Giants. There's one more thing I want to touch on. I forgot now. Hold on a second. Oh, yeah, the preseason games. So, preseason game number 1. Eli Manning didn't play. It was Ryan Nassib, and Ryan Nassib looked awful. Not gonna lie. Fumbling snaps, bad throws. The throw to Sterling Shepard was an awful throw. Shepard made a great catch. The pick. He did not have a good game. Guys who did have a good game, Sterling Shepard, Eli Apple on special teams looked very good. Jonathan Casillas, who looked good again today in Buffalo. We have, what's his name? Oh my goodness. I'm trying to remember his name now. Roger Lewis. He looked very good today. And against Miami, he looked decent. But today he had a nice catch down the sideline, along with Tavares King, who just caught one, but he was out of bounds. He sat down out of bounds. Now, guys that looked horrible, Larry Donnell. He looks horrendous. He's blocking. He's letting guys just walk right through. I mean, there's no point even having him on the field. Again, Ryan Nassib. Bobby Rainey looked. He had a good run today, a 7-yard run, but special teams, he let a kick drop that easily could have been recovered by Buffalo. I don't know what he was doing. The whole offensive line. The first game wasn't horrible, but this game, the Buffalo game, was horrendous. They looked awful. The first game wasn't that bad. They weren't that bad. But today, they looked awful. Eli Manning. I mean, he looked good the first drive. He did. And then the Lions started letting them free rush him. I don't know what he can do. So at the tight end spot, I'd like to see Jarrell Adams get some, because we need blocking at the tight end spot, because Will Tye, even he was very good last year, but he's not that good of a blocker either. As far as everything else goes, the Giants' toughest game of the year, I think, is the Steelers game in Pittsburgh. I don't see them winning that game. And that's pretty much it. I mean, you could say that Odell is overrated. I've seen this so much this offseason for some reason, that he's not really like, he's not the same caliber as I've seen it on NFL Network. They had a list, and it had him at number 6 from top 10 receivers. For fantasy-wise, not NFL Network. Now, I don't know where this list came from. I don't think it's very accurate, because everybody else has him at number 2, actually, not even 3, which I have him at. They have him at 6, and they said it was because he doesn't get many receptions, which I think is not true, because he had 96 receptions after missing a game and missing a half of the game, so missing 1.5 games. That's just going to be it. I mean, hopefully the offensive line tunes it up. Oh, before we go, we're just going to go through position by position and grade it. So at quarterback, I have it at a B. Eli Manning is a B. He's on A. He's not a super A quarterback, but he's definitely not in the C's and D's like Tannehill and Bradford. He's a B. He's a second tier quarterback. I think he's right there with guys like Carson Palmer. Like, I think he's right there with. I really do. Running backs, I'll give him a B minus, C. last year, if they go with just one or two guys, I think they can improve that. But right now, receivers, I give them an A. Odell Beckham, top 3 receiver. Sterling Shepard, so much promise. Offensive line, I give him a D right now. Okay, Aaron Flowers looks not good. Pugh looks good, but he didn't play today. That could be a huge problem. That could have been actually, now that I'm thinking about it, that could have been one of the reasons that they couldn't walk. Because Justin Pugh was a very good lineman, he was out. Weston Richburg, he's very good. But then you right side of the line, you got John Jerry and Marshall Newhouse. Marshall Newhouse is not good at all, and John Jerry is teetering. Tight ends, I give him a C. Donnell and Ty. Ty's good receiving wise, but they both not blocking. I haven't really seen much of Darrell Adams. Is that? We have the defensive line. I give it an A. Every position, you got names people know. I think the defensive line is gonna be very good. Linebackers, I give them a C, maybe even a C minus, judging by last year, and they haven't really gotten anybody new besides B.J. Goodson, Calvin Shepard, and Keenan Robinson, and all of them have not really been elite linebackers or even second tier. They're more like third, fourth tier linebackers. B.J. Goodson, I hope he can become a good linebacker though. Deron Kennard, who's a very good pass rushing, but they do play 4-3, so he doesn't rush often, but he rushes on blitzes. Safeties. This is tough because in the run defense, they're both very good. Darian Thompson had a play where he stopped LaShawn McCoy behind the line for 4-yard loss, flew through the line, and immediately brought him down. So I think with that, he's gonna. I think run stopping, I think they can be a B, almost an A. But pass defense, I don't know, because Collins is very susceptible, so it's C. I'll give him. So an overall B minus to C plus. And to finish, the cornerbacks, I'll give him a B. Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie was very surprising last year. He had a good year, and Janoris Jenkins he's a good corner. With the Rams, he had a lot of interceptions. Good, he plays the ball well in the air. Yeah, so that's gonna be pretty much it. I'm gonna wrap this video up. This will be posted today, Sunday, and that is the first of 32 season previews before the season starts on September 11th. Thank you, and I will see you soon with the next team, which I'm considering being the New York Jets.